I'll call to order this meeting of the Board of Selectmen. First item, confirm the future meeting dates of March 8th and March 22nd.
Both those dates are fine by me.
Fine with me, too.
And then we also have a regularly scheduled meeting this Thursday with a 7 o'clock time, start time. Next item, citizens speak. Are there any citizens that would like to address the board?
Well, you're a citizen, Fred,
I know, that's why I'm saying it.
of the world.
There's two citizens here. Okay. Moving on, the patrolman positions. February the 9th, we interviewed 7 candidates for patrolman interviews, and we're here tonight to make appointments on the patrolman, and I'd like to invite Chief Wells to the table.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening.
Chief?
I sent a written recommendation to each of you today, and I took your correspondence. Since Friday, Kevin's aware, one candidate, Mr. Pantazoulis, accepted a position with the Quincy Police Department Friday. So I'm prepared to make 3 recommendations to you tonight based on 3 recommendations for conditional employment, and that's based on all of the work that we've done, including your interviews for the past 2 months now. And I'll be ready whenever you are ready to accept, okay? It's this time I'd like to recommend Mr. Michael Delaney of 72 Pond Street, Milton. Mr. Gerard J. Dewey of 35 Frothingham Street in Milton, and Michael Grant of 78 Badger Circle in Milton. Both Mr. Dewey and Mr. Grant would be conditional appointments subject to medical screening, psychological screening, and completion of the MBTA Transit Academy, which begins on March 5th. Mr. Delaney would just be subject to the medical and psychological, where he is already currently a certified police officer within the Commonwealth, and he would actually begin work on March 5th. That would be his first, that pay period would be, he would come right to work.
Is he still on some kind of like
He's beyond
period
that.
of apprenticeship?
Yeah,
or-
he'll be on, for the purposes of civil service, he'll still be, his probation will begin on March 5th, where the others won't begin until they graduate from the police
Okay.
academy.
Chief, can I ask one question on,
Sure.
on Mr. Dewey? There was something, item 18 in his background, about the state police, tentative placement with the state police. Do you know what the status of that is?
I believe, it wasn't the state police, was
It was
it the state police
Massport.
academy for the Massport?
Port,
And that
yeah.
was, it's actually, there's a situation in the Commonwealth where a community or a law enforcement agency, we've never done it, I don't think we have, Kevin, we might have done it once, can sponsor an individual to go to the police academy with 2 conditions. They pay their own equipment, and they must provide their own health insurance. And Mr. Dewey, if a person can arrange it, it's pretty good because it gets you certified. Unfortunately, you do it on your own. It's much larger in small communities. Mr. Dewey was in the process of going so far as to go to the police academy on his own, and that was through the Massport. So he didn't have to tell us that, but he made us aware of that during his background.
Kind of enhances his resume.
Enhances
by
his own,
having
right,
it.
enhances his own resume, and as we can see in the case of Mr. Delaney, the fact that he's coming here as a fully certified, that's probably about, I don't know how much money that we're saving by not having
to
to.
send him, yes.
He's already in the business.
He's
without
already in the
training.
business, right,
Yeah.
so, that's a savings to the town, which, as Kevin and I had talked about this a few months ago, you know, we've lost some of our officers who we certified have gone to other places. It's nice that, not the PC's lost, but it's nice on our behalf to be able to hire someone that now benefits the community for us as well.
Mhm. But you feel comfortable he would prefer to be with Milton
Oh,
than
I'm
Massport?
yes.
Okay.
Very comfortable,
And he was interviewed one other time by the board,
Yeah.
but
Yes, he
was.
but that
He was,
time, he
right.
just, there were other candidates that were a little bit further up on the list.
And I think he was a police cadet for like 4 years?
He was,
I think so,
he's
yeah.
Dewey's worked for the Sheriff's Department in Suffolk County for several years.
Yeah.
Michael Grant is a police cadet,
Okay.
and Michael Delaney is a police
Michael's
officer.
worked for 2
Michael's
years?
2 years as a cadet. He's actually,
And
I have to be very honest with you, and I told him this to his face today, I was being very selfish. This was a recommendation I didn't want to make because he's so good. He's one of the best. They're all excellent, but there's a kid who no one knew he came in, and he absolutely, if you might note from his background, he's already got 2 commendations in the past year for exemplary work. He's really a...
We told him during the interview that Kevin Foley had said in his recommendation that he was the best cadet that he had ever had under him.
I don't want to say that because I know they're watching TV.
I told him that on TV the other night.
I don't want to, I know he did say that, and I mean that, you know, in the last group of cadets, the last 4 we hired are very good, but Michael Grant is one exceptional young man, I really say that, and I hope his parents are watching. I hope all their parents are watching, but I mean that, and I said that to him this morning. I said, I want to be selfish and not make this recommendation, but you deserve this.
Well,
So there would be the
With
3.
that, Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion to appoint Michael S. Delaney of 72 Pond Street, Gerard J. Dewey of 35 Frothingham Street, and Michael R. Grant of 78 Badger Circle, all of Milton, to the position of police officer. In the case of Mr. Dewey and Mr. Grant, they will be attending the police academy as specified, and Michael Delaney would start right away as a police officer.
Second.
Further discussion? I'll just comment that I'm comfortable with the chief's recommendations. Michael Delaney's a graduate of Milton High School, has a BA in Business Administration from UMass Amherst. He's been involved in the community with cancer fundraising, scholarship funds, Boy Scouts. He's currently on the police department at Boston College. He's got experience as a Verizon technician. His incidents in terms of the law, driving history, et cetera, is very good. He interviewed, like all of the candidates did, well. Gerard Juve got a degree from Curry College in criminal justice. Now has experience in law enforcement. He's a graduate of Milton High School. And Michael Grant also is, I think, very, very impressive to me. Graduate of Catholic Memorial, working, I believe, attended Massasoit, working towards a degree at Quincy College. Been involved at St. Agatha's, Father Bill's Place. He's been a cadet since 2010. And I just think that he also, like the other candidates, interviewed very well, and we're getting, if this passes, I think the town's going to be doing well in terms of its new policeman.
I agree, and I thank you for this nomination and appointment tonight. I think that they'll all do very well here for our community.
Yeah, the background checks were very, very good, too.
They are
I mean, there's a
comprehensive.
lot of information in there.
You got, of the 7 you got, there's 3 different lists we went through in here. This is a huge investment for us, who we hire as police officers, and we try to give you as much information and be as thorough as possible.
Motion's been made, second discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
One other comment that I'll have that's related to patrolman interviews. There's a couple of, there's a number of previous applicants that I thought were very good applicants, and I think it'd be, if they're still interested, it'd be nice if some of those applicants that you feel comfortable with later when positions open up,
I
come
did send
back to the
letters.
board.
I will do that, and I always send letters. I sent letters to each of them today, thanking them for their time and consideration. In some of the cases, particularly some of the individuals that are at the bottom of this motion, just by mark, we didn't get found out, but there were some very qualified candidates there. And
Right, these candidates...
You don't have a lot of control over that anyways,
no,
do you?
no.
If I'm not mistaken, these candidates that we interviewed the other night are a new list that,
Right.
since the last
Since
list,
the last list.
where we had those people that you're talking about.
With the exception of the top 2, the 402A and the
Right.
402B.
I'm thinking specifically of people that I think it was in April of 2011. We bypassed them, but I thought they were excellent, like Brian Kakamo. Then there was a Michelle Jahawat, was it?
Moravia.
Moraviak, right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
They
were
weren't on the
excellent.
current list, right?
Yeah,
They're not on the list
They're not
now.
on the list.
Kokomo
There's
came
nothing
out
to
on
do
this list, but just, and he's a very qualified kid, we couldn't get down.
Yeah.
He's 2 more grades down.
Where in the previous list, he had topped the list.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Civil Service has changed the rules. This list now will expire on the
March
15th.
15th.
The 15th of March.
March 15th, huh?
March 15th
And
is
if they
the
didn't
lowest
take, if they didn't take the exam, the most recent one, they'll be completely off the list. If they took the most recent exam, which was probably, what, April? Then if they got a higher score, that will appear. If they got a lower score, the higher score will appear, keep them on the list at the highest marking of the 2 tests. So they've changed the rules
It
in
is
the last couple of years.
complicated to
It's,
follow it.
yeah, they keep kind of switching, where before the practice was every 2 years, and one list was certified. Once the new list was certified, the old list then expired. Now they're merging them, and it gets a little bit more complicated, which I think is the chair's concern, that these lists are
Yeah,
now getting
and
mismatched.
the fact that I think
Not
that this
consistent.
board would like to encourage, even if somebody didn't get picked in the past, to persevere if they still want a career in law enforcement.
Exactly. That's
Y-
true.
If that's the case, if these kids for this list may not have gotten picked, but they're merging lists, how come this list that we picked from tonight wasn't mixed with the previous list, which had Kokomo up
Because that
top?
went over 2 years.
Oh,
At the
okay.
end of 2 years,
It's over.
one list is going to
Okay.
definitely expire, the merged list.
And that list that Kevin's talking about is the list where, you remember where there were 2 individuals who appealed because the test that they took, it was
Right.
for both the state police and there was a question that you had to check both.
Right,
and
they had a
went
hearing
in.
with the civil
Right,
service, yeah.
and they did not prevail, so they're actually coming off a new list, but that list there is now gonna end, that old list.
Yeah.
It is Kevin's correct, you have to really watch it, because what'll happen is a list will expire on you, and you've gotta stay on top of it. It's very fluid now as compared to how it used to be, and a lot of the onus now is on us, the community, things that civil service used to do.
All right, well,
So
thank you, and congratulations to
Thank
the
you.
2 Michaels.
And
Chief,
you-
you let the other 4 candidates know how difficult a decision it was, and
I've already done that today, and so.
And also the people that did the background checks, you tell them they did a really good job.
Yeah.
All the time, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Next, approval conditions assessment school and public building contract.
Mr. Chairman, this is what the Consolidated Facilities and Town Meeting had approved. The selectmen had submitted it as a budget item for FY13, that there be a study of, FY12, that there be a study of all town buildings. The town put together an RFP. The director sent the RFP out. This was, I think I'm not sure if it was the low bidder. I think it was the low bidder for the contract. And that contract was sent to town council for review, and town council has no problem with the language in the contract.
So basically what this is a physical needs assessment
Assessment.
of all the town buildings that are going to be part of consolidated facilities, so all the schools, as well as town hall and fire stations and DPW, and come up with a comprehensive, or a fairly comprehensive list of
And I
what needs are.
think the building director feels that that's critical for him to get this.
Oh, it absolutely is. Yeah, definitely is. So I will make a motion to approve a contract prepared by town council between the town and Drummy Roseanne Anderson, Inc. For services outlined in the town's request for proposal for a conditions assessment for school and public buildings.
Second discussion.
Discussion?
Yeah, how long do you think this assessment will take?
And I don't know.
It didn't sound like it was going to be a long process,
Yeah.
but because it's based upon what we could afford to spend on this, which was $50,000. It can't be a tremendously in-depth study, which could cost as much as $200,000 or $300,000. So it sounded like, talking to Bill, that it was a study that would be done, probably over the summer and finished.
And I'll review the contract, and if there is a specific date to where the reports is to be submitted, I'll get it right out to the board. So
But I'm just a little concerned because he's ramping up now with with hiring people and stuff. I don't want them sitting around with nothing to do.
Okay.
I think they'll have plenty to
There's
do.
plenty to do right now without the, again, this is just to, take a snapshot at this point in time going forward for all your buildings. But there's plenty of day-to-day work
Okay,
that needs to be addressed that
Right.
you don't have enough staff to do that right now.
Plenty of
The
fires to be
consolidated
put out,
facilities and enough staff to even attend to all those, so.
okay.
I don't think there's plenty of work and not enough staff to do all the work that has to be done right now.
Right, okay.
And by hiring this company, does that put us at an advantage because they've got previous experience with our schools?
Yeah,
Isn't
they-
this the
Oh,
same
yeah,
company?
yes, yes.
They know our
Schools
Oh,
schools.
need to be-
absolutely,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point, they come in with
Yeah.
the major square footage of the school buildings, by far. The blueprint of all town buildings, the schools have the vast majority of the footprint, so you're coming in with a company that already knows.
Yeah, which is
Is
good.
is
My
an
understanding
is
is-
an assessment of the fire stations in there?
Yes.
All buildings, all the town buildings.
But for the most part, it'll be looking at the mechanicals and the larger structural components. And
Your roof, your boiler systems, your major structural components to all your buildings.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded and discussed, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Town administrators
No report,
report,
Mr. Chairman.
chairman's report, nothing to report. New business?
Except that we all attended the all-day warrant committee meeting the other day, and
We did.
I think we
Yeah.
came to a
All
pretty
day.
good compromise in the end to balance the budget. We're not going to need an override, and I think that's
no override, no layoffs.
no layoffs, yeah.
It's,
And we restored all these emails we've been getting about the music program and all
Yeah.
that sort of thing. That's been restored, so, there just isn't as much going into the stabilization fund as there was. And those other, we have to cobble together that other $200,000 that we talked about. We have to find that,
From health insurance?
yeah. the
Yeah,
health
that's
insurance,
already, we already.
Yeah, between health
kind of-
insurance and
that's
general
been pledged,
insurance.
so.
So I think, and I didn't know this, I think what you just said is that the emails concerns about the music and so on, so that,
I asked Linda Lee and I was standing in the back, and I said, well, if we do this, does that mean that music and the arts come back? And she said, yeah, they do.
that's,
So,
to me, is like really good news, because educationally speaking, you have your reading, your writing, and your math, but I feel that you're educating the whole child, and that your art, your music, your physical education are an integral part of delivering an excellent education to a child, that they're not a frill.
absolutely.
And so I'm
To
glad.
to that
to
end,
hear
there
that.
is a letter going out. We've just okayed it on the committee. I'm co-chair of that MPACE committee with Mary Gormley that sends out the letters with the excise tax bills, and you do the checkoff to give extra besides what your excise tax bill is. All that money goes to the arts. And so the excise tax bills will be going out in about 6 weeks. We'll have those letters inside. And we had a really good year last year, believe it or not. We were up, I'm not sure of the total amount, but we were up over what we had raised the year before. And we were able to we bring Shakespeare in, and Shakespeare plays are at the high school and most of the schools. We do things that we can't afford to do under the school budget. And it's a wonderful program. It's been in place since the mid-'90s, and Mary and John Phelan and the rest of the committee really work hard on it. So,
Old business. Is there a motion to adjourn?
so moved.
Second?
Mr. Chairman, you're getting so much better at this. This is
7:27.
All right. Now we got time for one ad before it's 7:30. Perfect time.